Hello everyone, tonight on the program, concerns about the high cost of credit. Bank of Ghana is pressed to address high interest rates. What can be done? We will discuss. Also ahead, how about exporting Ghana's fine arts? The Ghana Expo Promotion Authority is on that agenda.
The strategy's objective is to achieve a revenue of $25.3 billion by the year 2029. We'll only be able to achieve this if we harness resources and focus on the key pillars, which includes taking advantage of what we have in our arts and crafts space.
Also ahead, the Toronto-based mobility startup Plenty Waka acquires Ghana's Starbus after securing $1.2 million seed funding. We'll hear how that would impact Ghana's public transport system.
There's going to be a paradigm shift, all right, in the public transportation space. We all travel at most times. You mentioned about Toronto and how the public transportation system is coordinated.
More from co-founder of Plenty Waka coming up on this edition of Business Live. Thanks for joining, everyone. Details right after this. And welcome back to Business Live. The debate on high lending rates will not go away anytime soon. In fact, President Akufo-Addo brought it up last week when he tasked the newly constituted board of the Bank of Ghana to work around the clock and bring down the cost of credit. Cost of borrowing is very high in Ghana and places the nation amongst countries in sub-Saharan Africa with expensive lending rates. Inaugurating the reconstituted board of the central bank, President Akufo-Addo said it was not right for the spread between lending rates and the policy rate of the Bank of Ghana to remain high. Take a listen.
I believe we have learned, or should have learned, lessons both from our own history and from the experiences of other countries about how this partnership should work. History has taught us well that monetary policy must complement fiscal policy to create an enabling macroeconomic environment to promote growth and development of economies, including the Ghanaian economy. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to use this occasion to bring into focus a matter of great importance for the rapid growth of our economy. That is to urge the bank to interrogate the issue of high interest rates in Ghana and how the problem should be addressed to enhance the competitiveness of the private sector. It is surely not right that the central bank's monetary policy rate stands at 13.5%, whilst the commercial banks lend to the private sector at rates of 21% and above. This is a gap we have to bridge if we are to realize the vision of a Ghana whose economy is globally competitive. I believe the Bank of Ghana is best placed to lead this process of reflection and action. I want to end by stressing that the current socio-economic challenges of our beloved Ghana, occasioned largely by COVID-19, demand that every hand should be on deck. I wish to reiterate my call for even stronger partnership, as well as greater degree of policy coordination between the Bank of Ghana and the Ministry of Finance.
Well, just to add, the governor, Dr. Ernest Addison, in response said they will do all they can to address the high interest costs. Now, I should point out Fitch Solutions, research arm of ratings agency Fitch, is projecting the Bank of Ghana to hike its monetary policy rate to 14.5% next year. Now, if you go by that, then your cost of credit will not come down anytime soon, but rather go up slightly from next year. Joining me is Head of the Finance Department at the Valley View University, Dr. Williams Pepra. And thanks for your time tonight, sir. So in May, the central bank cut the policy rate from 14.5% to 13.5%. And expectations were that banks would consider that and cut down interest rates, but that's not happening. Why do you think that's so?
Thank you very much, Darrell. I'm very grateful for us to speak again. So if you look at what has happened within the financial sector, the banks are now being taxed to pay off the mess that happened in the past, which we have cleaned, which cost us 20 billion to clean the financial sector mess. So these banks are now are being taxed to pay. So in that case, what it means is that they will also have to find a way to bring up the money. And the only way to do that is to make sure that the spread margin between the central bank rate, which is the Ghana reference rate, and the bank's margin should be able to accommodate the new tax that government has imposed on them. So it's a way that you are asking banks to pay money to clean the mess. And at the same time, you are also asking them to reduce their interest rate. And we shouldn't forget that banks are in business to make money. And the only way they can make the money is to maintain a margin that will sustain them. So roughly, my checks in the industry shows that most banks, if it's a risk-free transaction, they will do a spread margin of about 4%. If they consider a riskier investment, most banks are currently doing 8 to 9%, and some at the extreme end of 12%, where they do 22%. So this is what is currently happening to reduce risks. The most risks that banks were facing in the past was how to identify their clients, where they stay, so that they'll be able to collect their money. With the coming in of this address system in the industry, and also the references where those who have borrowed are kept, these activities are helping the banks to be able to reduce the rate. But with the exception or the coming in of the new taxes, banks will struggle to reduce the margin. If not by the taxes, banks would have reduced the margin. So that is what is happening. The second factor is that cost of funds to banks are also becoming expensive now. So currently, financial institutions who are doing fixed deposits and in form of transactions are doing it around 17%, which is a cost of funds to the bank. So if bank, when they borrow from outside, they are paying about 70%, they will also be compelled to add their margin around 3% to 4%. That is why these funds are being sold to us customers around 21%. So if government really wants a reduction in the rate, government must review the tax imposed on banks, and in effect, it will affect them, bring the reduction. Also, with the coming in of the issue of how to reduce fraud in the system, banks are now compelled to invest in high technological softwares, and these are increasing the cost for banks. So this is one of the major areas that where we sit as analysts, look at where it's affecting the high rates of interest rate in the country. So if government can address the issue of software, IT infrastructure that banks are deploying to make sure that they become robust and are free from these cyber crimes and the rest, and also government reduces the tax which has been imposed on them, then the banks will be in the position to reduce the tax.
Yeah, just conclude on that.
The third option that central bank can come in is central bank going by what we all know, which we call interest rate targeting. The central bank will compel banks and say that no bank can do transactions above, say, 17%. In Nigeria, this is done. So, but in Ghana, we have been battling whether we have to do interest rate targeting.
Great. We lost a bit of what you said, but I think that we get it. We are making a point about what the Bank of Ghana has to do, because indeed there's a lot of pressure on the central bank. The president has talked about it. Last week, the special advisor to the president, Yao raised this again. And you're talking about the making a point about the Bank of Ghana having to maybe at a point ask the banks to cut down on the interest rate. I was asking you how realistic that approach would be, to demand that they cut down on the rates.
It will be difficult as we find ourselves in the country for the banks to cut down their cost. Currently, all banks, whether operating in this digitization industry for banking or putting up physical structures, all comes with cost. The banks, if you look at their margins, they are doing around 4 to 8%. And their cost of borrowing, if they take it from the central bank, which is the 13.5%. So if government wants the banks to reduce their cost, then government, who is the biggest spender and also taxing these banks, must reduce, one, the corporate tax they pay, because they cannot, the banks, something must instigate them to reduce their lending cost. The major one we know is both the direct and indirect taxes. As we speak, I think that issue has been resolved, which is the clothing allowance taxes for banking professionals. This is a cost to a bank, which the central bank, if we want to ask them to reduce it, we can use this as, if you're able to reduce your corporate tax rate by 5% for you, we want to see a reduction in the cost of lending. In that case, the banks will do.
I guess the point has been made, but let's move on to other stories. Apsa Bank has begun the move to ensure that many of its customers are migrated onto the bank's digital channels as part of its digitalization agenda. To this end, it has opened a digital-focused branch to serve businesses in the North Industrial Area and some individual clients with banking needs. Here's more in this report.
Transitioning to the new phase of banking, Apsa Bank Ghana wants to be identified as the best digital service bank in the country, with the migration of majority of its customers to at least one online or digital service. As part of the move, the new North Industrial Area branch will be used as one of the self-service branches where customers get their needs without hassle. Director for Retail Banking at Apsa Bank Ghana, Charles Ado, told Joy Business, this new branch is part of the bank's agenda and ready to serve all types of customers.
Our key focus was to be the top of mind to the customer. When you talk about retail banking, you want to talk about Apsa Bank. And in doing so, we had to push our digital agenda. We became digitally led. And in the process as well, we thought it necessary that all our branches are given an uplift in terms of a great ambience so that our customers can do the best business. And also areas that we felt that it wasn't very conducive to the customer, we had to relocate. And that is why we came in here. In this branch, it's a lot of self-service and digital facilities to help our customers get the best service. In this branch as well is serving all our different types of customers. We have corporate, we have business banking, we have retail customers also being served.
Meanwhile, branch manager for the North Industrial Area, Michael Ahili, has been explaining some of the services to be provided at the new digitally focused branch.
This fantastic edifice is like a one-stop shop for any other banking product that you want to. Talk of bill payment, digital services, top-notch. We have the normal banking transactions, the withdrawal and then deposit. Forex, we have the street transfer that we actually encourage most of our forex customers to do all their transactions over here. So it's a one-stop shop. And this is the place that each and every customer needs to be.
Apsa Bank Ghana is therefore using the new branch to solve the banking needs of the industrial area and North Kaneshi community.
We'll move on. You're watching Business Live. Coming up ahead in the bulletin, how about exporting Ghana's fine arts? The Ghana Expo Promotion Authority is on that agenda.
The strategy's objective is to achieve a revenue of $25.3 billion by the year 2029. We'll only be able to achieve this if we harness resources and focus on the key pillars, which includes taking advantage of what we have in our arts and crafts space.
And we'll bring you the story about the acquisition of Ghana's Star Bus by Plenty Waka. Do stay tuned, don't go anywhere.
There's going to be a paradigm shift, all right, in the public transportation space. We all travel at most times. You mentioned about Toronto and how the public transportation system is coordinated.
Welcome back. Now, the Ghana Expo Promotion Authority, GEPA, has opened the 2021 Sound Out Premium Arts Exhibition to the general public. Speaking at the launch, Chief Executive Dr. Ifua Asabiasare called for deepening investments in the fine arts industry.
Our mandate as an authority is to identify, develop, and promote products and services made in Ghana on the global market. But charity, they say, begins at home. The industrial art and craft sector is one of the 4 categories of exports GEPA caters for. As an agency under the Ministry of Trade and Industry, the interventions we support are mainly to boost the quality and production capacity of the export sector, to enable us meet demands that result from us going on and on and on about export Ghana, export more. Our support is also aligned to one of the key pillars of Ghana's National Export Development Strategy, which was launched in the last quarter of 2020. The strategy's objective is to achieve a revenue of $25.3 billion by the year 2029. We'll only be able to achieve this if we harness resources and focus on the key pillars, which includes taking advantage of what we have in our arts and crafts space.
Now, Toronto-headquartered shared mobility startup Plenty Workers acquired Starbus, one of Ghana's leading mobility startups, to expand its operations on the African continent. Plenty Workers' acquisition of Starbus comes in the wake of announcing a seed round of $1.2 million only 2 months after successfully ending the Techstars Toronto Accelerator program in July 2021. Johnny Anawolo is a co-founder of Plenty Worker.
There's going to be a paradigm shift, all right, in the public transportation space. We all travel at most times. You mentioned about Toronto and how the public transportation system is coordinated, even though they still have a lot of gaps. Because we have been speaking to the mayor of Brampton for a couple of months now, and we've actually identified those gaps. But coming back to Africa, I don't know whether is maybe more like a lineage thing where we're getting used to, the bad system where we just embrace everything, that comes our way, and because we don't have alternatives, we just want to work with it, So, and I think it's a high time where Africans, should be able to access better public transportation system. We all travel out and we see all of this happening, overseas and all of that. It can happen in Africa, and we want to change that. People don't need to go through awful experiences. For instance, I should be able to predict my daily commute from the comfort of my home, have access to an app where I can just check the number of buses coming my way, and also know the number of seats available in those buses, book my ride. I know the estimated time of arrival it will take the bus to get to my bus stop, and when before it gets to the bus stop, I'm already there, and I use my QR code to actually check into the bus. And what that gives to us, it gives you this comfort, and it gives you convenience. It also gives you the safety that we are all looking for, and people are guaranteed, because that you can actually track your daily movement, and you can also plan your trips. We now have people who plan their trips for like a month, and they just fund, we call it Waka Pause.
Okay.
You fund your Waka Pause for a month, and you know that this is the cost that will take you for the whole month.
Well, Starbus, started by Isidore Potofe, was featured on the Joy Business Van in 2019. It operates an app which allows users book for public transport services. Mr. Potofe will now become the country manager for Plenty Worker Ghana. He has been speaking to Joy Business about the partnership.
I think for us, the challenges in public transport need very bold moves, need the big solutions, and I believe that we can only do that with partnership, with combined resources. Plenty Worker has proven themselves in the Nigerian market. They have raised money, and they believe that, look, they have to expand to other countries as well. And we believe that we also have to scale our service beyond the small buses that we have now. And that's how the partnership is going to play out. Plenty Worker is going to come in to invest in the Guinean market with our expertise to scale the service. So if we're running 10 buses today, which is the case, we'll then scale to 20 next.
All right, and there's more news on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. This is Business Live. Stay tuned. We'll be back same time tomorrow.